What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets'd podcast. I don't know what number it is. I don't know. We
might be 168.
Might be 168, could be 169. It's definitely not 167. We're here in Port St. Lucie at spring training. There's a lot going on here. As you can see, if you're watching the YouTube video, we got Vito on camera. We got John standing in the back. He's being punished. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Divulge into that a little bit more. It's going to be a little bit of a chaos episode, honestly, but we're going to have some fun. This is spring training vibes, right?
It should be a chaos episode because spring training is chaos. We want to kind of encapsulate that, embody it, and deliver it back to you guys as we're taking it in ourselves.
So we've been seeing a bunch of things going on. We watched the intra squad game today. We'll tell you about everything that's going on here. If you guys are not yet following us on all our social media, make sure you are at Mets'd on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. If you're looking for the YouTube version, it's on the New York Mets YouTube channel. And if you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download it, and subscribe. And boys, we're doing it. We're doing an episode finally. We had a lot of different locations that were going on. I know Vito's our producer, in case you guys did not know that. How did you feel today about trying to find all these different locations?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as big as City feels, so you'd think it would be pretty straightforward of where we're going to shoot today, but we've been all over the place. We've been told 4 or 5 different spots. At one point, we were outside the stadium, possibly filming there. Then we were inside of, I don't even know what, a multimedia room.
Yeah.
Now we are in the home radio booth. We're all stuck together. There's a bobblehead table next to us, and that's the setting for what we're doing right now.
And John's banana peel.
Oh my gosh.
John's being punished. The banana peel.
What did I do?
So last night, we were all hanging out, having a good time at the hotel.
And also, before we even got there, before Marc and I even got to Port St. Lucie at all, John told us to circle Thursday night on your calendars. Thursday night's the night. We're all going to hang out. We're all going to have a great time together. Everyone get ready for Thursday. And we get there. We start having a great time together. John's doing this thing socially. You know, John is John. I don't even know. I don't even want to divulge this on the show, but keep going.
So John, we're having a good time. It's 10 o'clock at night, roughly. All of a sudden, we look around and we go, John's gone.
Where's John?
John's gone. He's not here. He's no
3
longer
of us
with
are still
us.
there.
Text John, where you go? He's like, I feel so bad. I Irish goodbye to you guys. I did not say goodbye to anybody. So John, what's your reasoning? I mean, that's why you're standing. He's being punished. He has to stand for the episode. Also, kind of works with the framing a little bit. But
nice.
What was your reasoning for just not saying goodbye to the boys?
Look, I put my hand up. I take full responsibility. I don't want to say credit. Credit's a good word. This is not a good thing. I am very bad at saying goodbye in a big setting with a lot of people. There's always, it doesn't matter where you are, what the function is, there's always going to be a person or two that you're like, this is going to be an awkward goodbye. Like,
I don't know why it's awkward.
Do I hug them? Do I shake their hand? Do I just wave? You know, like, I have a really bad anxiety about these situations, and I've had this for a while.
There he is.
And so I sometimes choose the easy way out, not facing my fears, and that is just out the door.
To be fair,
I did that.
To be fair, it was a great night. We had a great time. Yeah. Lots of fun. It was
great
cool.
Day.
Cool hanging out with all the people behind the scenes for the Mets. I don't have any coworkers ever, so it's kind of interesting to interact.
You've never had coworkers?
Never had a coworker in my life, so it's interesting to interact with people that you work with because it's not something I'm used to.
And it was also an amazing close for like our first day in Port St. Lucie. Like probably some of the longest days of our entire lives. Yeah. We've only just realized before we got into this studio here that I've only been in Port St. Lucie for about 40 hours, Marc for about 48.
Yeah. And
we've already done a ridiculous amount of stuff. And even the funny part about John Irish goodbying us is that the first time he saw us, like me specifically in Port St. Lucie, was during picture day, which started at 6 o'clock in the morning for us on Thursday morning. John ran up to me tippy-toes and gave me a hug. John's never showed any of us affection ever. John hugged me at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I was excited.
He was excited.
The boys are here. And photo day was really cool too because we got to be talking to it wasn't good English, but we got to talk to all the players while they were waiting online for photo day.
Basically, the way photo day works is that the players come through for individual photos, like the headshots that we see all year long, and they go photo. Those are pretty quick. And then we do kind of the artsy shots in the back. Mets had built this incredible set.
Yeah, it was
John
really
had a big hand in putting together. These guys both had the big hand in taking it down.
That was fun.
Yeah, it looked so much fun. But basically, you get different poses. You get the smoke machines. You're in front of like this industrial-looking thing with a bat. So that gets backed up a little bit. So then we have like 7 or 8 players just standing in front of us. And we're like, hey, we're the podcast guys.
Yeah, introducing ourselves, talking, chit-chatting. We had our boy, shout out to Billy Hollywood. William Woods. He was part of a group of like 8 guys that were standing there, introduced the podcast. Everyone was like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. William Woods, he comes right up to us, he's like, so you're the podcast guys. I want to talk to you. I love podcasts. So hopefully get to talk to Billy Hollywood. That's the nickname we're giving him.
Yeah, new nickname for
soon
Billy
at some point in spring training because he seems interested.
Also got to reconnect with our friend Brett, otherwise known as Brett Beatty. You guys probably know him really well. He had a great intra-squad game today.
He looked great.
Great batting practice before, smacking the ball all over the yard. Remembered us, remembered things about the interview we did with him 2 full years ago almost now in Arizona in 2021. Just came up to us like, guys, what's up? How's it going? Came up to me, was like, how good was Garrett Wilson this year? I was like, really good. Thanks, Brett.
Complimented my shoes.
You did. He said Marc's shoes were fresh.
That's a big compliment for a guy who doesn't really have much shoe game necessarily.
No, almost no shoe game.
Almost negative.
Your only shoe game is Mets shoes.
Yeah, pretty much. And my Air Maxes that are just falling apart.
Decrepit. Marc's 7-year-old Air Max 95s.
They're a great shoe.
Just hanging on to his high school persona a little bit longer.
That was 7 years ago. I was in college, bud. Come on.
I know, but you only wore those because of the high school persona.
Yeah, probably.
Carryover, spillover.
Yeah,
It's a good shoe. It's a good shoe. But yeah, that was cool. We talked to Pete Alonso, which was crazy.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with him.
Make a TikTok with him. You guys will see soon.
Yep. You shook Francisco Lindor's
I
hand.
did, just very casually. Hey, Francisco. Hey, nice to see you.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he just stood next to me for a second. I was like, give me one. Firm, good handshake from Francisco.
That's how nuts this whole experience has been. Like, you guys would come up to me, I would be off doing my own thing, and then I'd come back and you would say, I just talked to this person for like 10, 15 minutes.
Vito talked to one of his idols, Adam Ottavino, for about 10 minutes.
Adam Ottavino, we're both 2 Italian kids from New York City. Time of my life was talking to Adam. So, Adam, if you're watching this, we'll reconnect soon. We'll talk more about what high schools we went to, what places we like to visit.
Vito has like half a man crush on Adam Ottavino, and some people in the organization know it, especially Jenna in production. So there was, again, the same line of like 8 or 9 people standing, and Vito's right here. Adam Ottavino's basically exactly where John is, also standing, so you can get the full effect. And Jenna goes, hey, Vito, it's Adam. Well, full volume.
In between us was a line.
That's funny.
It was so funny.
No, John, in between me and Adam was the line of players waiting for photo day.
Yeah.
And Jenna screamed over to me. And then all these players had to look at me like, why is this happening?
You know what's funny about that? So Jenna is a big fan of a player on another team. I'm not going to mention the player. Jen and I will walk to the parking lot after games together. And this player was right behind us. And I noticed the player.
Yeah.
And I said, Jenna, look. And she was like, what? I can't hear you. And I was like, Jenna, look, it's him. And she's like, what? And I was like, she doesn't get it. But I didn't do what she did to you. I didn't scream. I should have screamed. And the next morning, I actually told her I should have screamed and I should have put you on the spot so you got that picture you wanted. But
Can you tell us what team?
yes, Philadelphia Phillies.
For some reason, I was thinking that in my head. For some reason, I was thinking Phillies. I don't know why.
guess who it could be.
He's a good player, but it's just funny. It's the same scenario, and I totally handled
It's
it.
not the same scenario.
It's the
pretty
same
different
scenario. Nah, it's the same scenario.
Also, something funny that happened
Yeah.
before this. We had a late night on Thursday because me, Marc, and Vito were just together first time in a while. My flight didn't even land till like 12. I got busted out by the stupid
Oh my
rain by
God.
LaGuardia. And then
is
we hang
unreal.
out till late. We knew we had to get up like 5:30, 5:45 wake up call and make picture day. So we're a little tired, a little lethargic. We go to get drive-through coffee in the morning. And we learned in that instance that Vito had never ever spoken at a drive-through
God.
in his
Oh,
life.
God.
Ever.
No, I got my license, I think 3 or 4 months ago. I've only driven 11 times in my life. I want to
City
give a
boy.
big shout out to Mr. Carlos from Hawaii Driving School. He taught me everything I know. Yeah, we get to the...
Being a driving instructor in New York City has to be so funny
Crazy.
for that reason.
Crazy.
Because if you're a driving instructor anywhere else in the world, everyone's the same age.
Oh, no, he told me. He was like, yeah, after this, I have a 54-year-old woman who's learning how to drive. So we pull up to the drive-thru, and I'm getting my nitro cold brew. And I don't know how drive-thru works, so we pull up to the box, and I scream over Marc, hi! Hi, are you there?
How you doing?
You doing? Can I get a coffee? And they look at me like I'm crazy.
And
Sure.
you told us, you're like, I'd never ordered at a drive-thru before. I was like, that explains everything, because I was like, it's a little animal. It just did like.
I thought it was
calling
just
the
like we were all in
drive-thru
like 3.5 hours of sleep, so Vito hasn't really woken up yet, doesn't know what's going on. But no, he actually is doing that and also does not know what's going on.
It's been quite the week too, because it got started off with me and Vito taking the flight to West Palm Beach together. We're online, we're going through security, we get on the flight, hell of a flight. I mean, there was like 6 screaming, way too old children surrounding me. Vito could hear them 10 rows in front of me. But then we get off the plane, we go to the rent-a-car, and Vito's like, all right, I'm gonna check in, get the rent-a-car, and he goes, I don't have my ID. My ID's
Forgot
gone.
that.
Yeah, I found out as we were getting our rental car where I needed to provide my license that we did not, I say we, I mean me, myself. I
Don't
did
put it
not-
on me.
I did not have my ID.
Was he on me or Bobby?
So my fiance will be mailing me my passport sometime in the next few days.
So we can go home. Trapped in Port St. Lucie. I mean, it's been, you had your Uber
Yeah,
driver.
I also got an unbelievably Floridian welcome to this wonderful state of Florida. Called my Uber. First, it's very hard to get an Uber from West Palm Beach to Port St. Lucie because
Far drive.
50 miles away, so I
Yeah.
got a lot of people canceling on me. And then the one dude who was happy to pick me up, Ash, shout out Ash. Great Uber driver in total, but I got in the car. Reeks of cigarettes, fedora, transition lenses, long ponytail.
You said his name was Ash?
Ash.
And a reeked of cigarettes.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
And former vocalist, I almost said screamer, in a metal band. So vocalist, screamer, same thing. So we all got there, then 6 a.m. picture day, ready to rock. And then we kind of just hit the ground running, stayed hot after that.
Yeah.
Stayed in the facility, got to watch basically practice, batting practice.
This is really cool. I hadn't been around like a baseball practice in a long time just because of COVID, and I haven't been back to spring training, I think, since right before COVID 2020.
Yeah.
So seeing Buck Showalter run practice with all these guys was super, super interesting. He's on top of everything. Like, this team is going to be unbelievably prepared for every single situation. I couldn't believe how, I don't want to say dense, but how thorough he was with like he's like, all right, there's a slow runner on first base, a fast runner on third, he's stealing second. We're not going to throw to him because we know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get us in a pickle so the guy can score. Just being able to hear that and see how the players also react and take in this information. As a baseball fan, not even just as a Mets fan, as a baseball fan, I'm like, damn, they're really, really focused. These are all the little things that could make the difference 1 or 2 games in a season.
Also, just huge shout out to Wayne Kirby and Joey Cora running their own drills with the infielders and outfielders separately. Really cool to just watch them be able to talk to these guys in the small groups, do these little tiny drills. Wayne Kirby was doing something today I thought was really cool. They were preparing like for caroms basically off either both the wall, like out in the outfield, or also the foul wall. So Wayne Kirby would just stand there, yell go, and just take the ball himself and like throw a hopper against the wall and let the guys get to it, gather, pick up, and hit the cutoff man.
And you guys heard Billy Epler talk about the importance of defense and how if you want to play in the major leagues, the bat's not just it. Like, you need to be able to defend. And I think we could all agree in past years that wasn't necessarily the case with this team. And then you walk around and you see that. You see the proof in the pudding. There is a field here dedicated, you like that, proof in the pudding. There is a field here dedicated just for defense. Smaller field, a lot of ground balls. Joey Cora, even before camp started, was out there. Eduardo Escobar was here. Mark Vientos, Brett Beatty, grounder after grounder after grounder after grounder. I mean, this team, they were good defensively last year. It's going to be a good defensive team once again this year.
I think we also have to spend some time talking about Eduardo Escobar.
He's
star of camp.
If anybody's ever been a baseball team, you always know that there's always some practices that's like, all right, we're out here, it's hot, like we're doing drills for a couple hours in a row, like whatever. Eduardo Escobar is the type of player you want on every baseball team you've ever been on in your life. We were at picture day. It was probably not even 8 o'clock in the morning yet when Eduardo got through for his thing. We started just playing music in there to keep the vibes up. Someone turned on Gasolina. Eduardo Escobar turns his hat backwards, just starts like ripping dances. 8 o'clock in the morning to Gasolina. It was unbelievable.
He had the camera
spectacle.
too. He took pictures of us.
Of us, with a little Polaroid.
And he's nonstop energy from the time it seems like he gets here till the time he leaves. He took BP, and I feel like this was so funny. He had like a bad round of BP, like in his mind, in 3 at-bats. And he got off, he was like, wow, that was horrible. And he was like smiling and laughing. Like, he brings the vibes, he brings the energy, and I think that's super important and something that we get to see being behind the scenes and watching these guys practice like we have for the last 2 days. Like, the chemistry of this team, I know it's been said a lot, but like these guys are super, super close, super, super tight. Everybody's like, they all have the same goal in mind, and they're all trying to get it, which is really cool.
He also took a grounder when they started doing infield. He just had like picked up off a good hop, threw a snap to Pete, good snap of the glove, and he goes, yeah, that's right.
Like, he's just
taking a grounder in the middle of the day.
Which is cool. It's really cool.
Infectious energy.
Seeing the interactions with everybody, seeing guys take BP, because when we're at Citi Field, we get to see BP, but we're not as close, because at spring training, everything's a little bit closer. I mean, Francisco Alvarez put together one of the most impressive BP sessions that I've ever seen. Balls being hit to right field out with ease. He put one like on top of, there's like this like awning, I think it's called the Corona Beach House in left field. He put one on top of the blue awning yesterday, which I have not seen anybody do yet. Fascinating. Pete Alonso taking BP, Lindor, like these guys are just, they're such dogs.
Did you guys see Tommy Pham hitting yesterday in the cage?
Didn't see Tommy Pham hit.
Tommy Pham was putting on a show similar to Francisco Alvarez. I was standing way down the left field line, and the cage kind of blocks you out, especially for the right-handed hitter.
Yeah.
And I asked Brian Rusnak, who I've been traveling around with, our camera operator down here, I said, who is that? Let me see through your lens. And I was like, oh, that's Tommy Pham.
Yeah.
And Tommy Pham was hitting absolute missiles to all fields.
Tommy Pham, too, today, I think, got asked about like why he chose the Mets, and he was like, listen, like, you know, the teams that were available, this team it has chances to do big things. Like, I want to be on a winning team. I want to be on a team that has an easy way to the championships, were his words. Nothing's ever easy, but I love to hear that he's really here because he wants to win. We
also saw Tommy Pham doing the outfield drill we were talking about before. He just kind of like picked up a ball one time and still like hit the cutoff man in a great throw. Very hard on himself afterwards. He was like, I gotta be better there. And Wayne Kirby was like, you got it, man. It was a good throw. He's like, gotta be better.
No, it's cool to see all these guys work, because during the season, you're focused on the game. You're kind of warming up to get ready to play the game at night.
Also something cool, something that John talked about a few weeks ago when he first got down to spring training, the relationship growing between Brett Baty and Marc Vientos. These guys were just taking ground balls together at third base in the backfield. Every single play, they were like come back to each other, like dapping each other up, like kind of razzing each other.
Which is really cool because, like, in theory, they're fighting for a similar spot.
They're 100% in competition for the same at-bats.
Yeah.
And
Which is
they're
really
still
cool.
able to have camaraderie. It's guys who know each other.
We've seen Narvaez and Alvarez have been connected at the hip, like John said earlier. It was really cool to see them doing catching drills. I saw that earlier while you were gone for a little bit.
Yeah, also seeing Brandon Nimmo seemingly take on a bit more of a leadership role here.
Yeah.
Kind of being a little bit more of the mayor, I'd say, this spring training. He's going around talking to everybody. We overheard him and Buck talking about like renting. Just like life stuff. It was very funny to listen to him talk.
By the way, have you guys seen Brandon's wheels?
No.
You got a
No.
new car?
I think Tim Healy wrote about it or tweeted it maybe, but let's just say there was an upgrade.
The check might have cashed.
Oh boy, was there an upgrade?
What car is it? Tell us. We're playing coy.
It's an Audi,
Okay.
but it's not just any Audi.
Oh,
It
it's
is.
Yeah, it's an R8.
I think he did tell us he was going to get like soup up an Audi. I think he
Yeah.
said specifically in our interview with him.
It's got like a Lamborghini engine, I'm pretty sure, or
okay.
something close to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like it's from what I'm told, I'm not a big car guy,
Seems fun.
but I know a guy that is.
Mr.
And,
Carlos?
No, not Mr. Carlos. Not Mr. Carlos owes some royalties here.
Really?
No, it wasn't Mr. Carlos,
Sponsors.
but
I have a
Yeah.
question. This just might be me being naive and not understanding what it means to have like hundreds of millions of dollars. You have that car in Port St. Lucie. Would you ship it
No,
back to New York?
you leave it here.
There's just
No,
there's a
you
floor in the
think?
car?
so maybe Brandon's gonna drive the Nissan in New York.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh, it's a bang
Vito
around
could build a
Yeah.
car in New York.
Let
and have
that
some
get
fun
beat up on the
Florida.
BQE a little bit. Yeah.
Grand Central.
Also
the
maybe-
Van Wyck.
Maybe has a driver in New York as well. If
Maybe,
he's living in
yeah.
the city, why would you ever want to drive if you could just?
Probably a little bit.
Oh,
city,
driving in the
actually.
city's great. You don't come on.
No, I
you
like
don't
driving
enjoy
in the
it.
city, but I didn't get $100 million. If I had $100
Sure.
million, I'm never driving again.
Sure.
Also,
all right,
like,
fair enough.
should let you guys know that we are doing this in an open air. It's part of the field. They're actively working on the field right now. If you,
Yeah, it's seemingly every single interview and piece of content that we've done. All of a sudden, the leaf blower and the guy who's raking the field and the trucks, they all start coming out. I'm like, you guys have been silent for the last hour and a half. We get the camera rolling, and you're ready to go. So if you hear a leaf blower, it's just live at spring training. That's what's happening.
when you hear the leaf blower.
Yeah, when, not
We,
if.
also, yeah, we were very excited yesterday. We had interviews lined up with Keith Rad, new play-by-play guy in the
Yep.
radio. They're going to be working with Howie Rose day by day, Drew Smith, and Tyler McGill. And we had a very nice setup on the concourse with the field behind us. Great spring training vibes. And then they just started patting down home plate. And yeah, we're tamping down home plate, running the leaf blower over the entire course of the field everywhere. So we get a lot of spring training feel with all the stuff we've been doing.
It's my first spring training at Port St. Lucie.
Mine too.
Vito, your first spring training.
First spring training my entire life.
Wow, okay. John.
And for
It's my second. It's my
Okay.
second. Yeah.
Last year was your first.
Last year was my
Not
first.
realize
Yeah.
that. Okay, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I've really enjoyed my time here so far. I'm super excited for like the next few days as we're getting actual games, which we'll talk about briefly too. But like just being in Florida and the sunny weather, it's been 85 degrees pretty much every day.
You guys have gotten lucky with the weather.
It's been beautiful.
amazing.
We
It's
haven't-
been like 12 straight days of nothing but sunshine
Yeah.
and great.
And I heard New York's getting a little rough this weekend, a little cold.
I heard yesterday New York was like 70 and
Really?
something.
Oh, they
That's
got a
not
nice day
good
in there.
though. That's not good.
It's not
Yeah.
85.
That's bad actually.
It's not 85.
That's not mince words. That's bad.
Yeah, that's pretty bad overall.
It's not 85 and sunny, but I've really enjoyed my time in Port St. Lucie thus far, and super excited. Especially like I said, the games are coming. We saw the intra-squad scrimmage today, which had Joey Lucchese on the mound for the pinstripe team,
Yeah.
going up against Dominic Hamill, who that was the
Yes.
first time I've seen him pitch live.
Yes.
First off, shout out to Joey Lucchese.
Joey
Yep.
Fuego.
Back, healthy, pitching. He talked about like whatever role they need me for, I'm totally all in. I just want to be a part of the team, be a part of the roster. And he looked good in his first little outing in over a year, right?
And we've
More
also,
than a year. June 2021 was the last time he pitched.
Okay, so like a year and a half, basically.
Yep.
We've also been interviewing a lot of pitchers down here. Actually, we've been interviewing exclusively pitchers.
Only pitchers,
Since
yeah.
we've been down here. And every single guy, McGill, Smith, and also David Peterson, which we did earlier today, which was a great interview, very baseball-centric interview. Everyone's just like, I'm here to help the team. I'm very
Yeah.
excited to help the team. Whatever role anybody needs me in, I want to help the team. And it seems like this really feels like an all-hands-on-deck type of roster right now. Everyone has their eye, they're focused on the same thing.
100%. Brought up Dominic Hamill before. I had never seen him pitch live. I'd only seen the highlights and whatever we read about. His slider's disgusting.
Great
His slider's
slider.
nasty. Dropped a couple in there early in the count, late in the count. Seems like he's going to be a pretty good pitcher in the future for the Mets, and I think he's pitching for Puerto Rico, right? in the World Baseball Classic.
Yes. That's
So
a big reason I think he got the start today.
yes, so we saw him. We saw Pete get hit a ball to right field. A couple. Brett Beatty was, I feel like, the star of the
laced
game.
two balls to left.
He looked locked in.
He
looked
looks
really,
so
really
good.
good, and his BP's been really, really good. Super excited to see what he's up to. It was cool to see baseball going. Tomorrow, They play a split squad game.
We also saw Alex Ramirez rope a single.
Yeah.
Alex Ramirez, seeing him in person, he looks like he should be in the NFL draft rather than like Brooklyn Binghamton this year.
Mets can put together a good football team.
We were actually doing that earlier today when we were watching the intra-squad game. We were like just like lining up the entire offense. Because like they have a couple good receivers between like Ronnie, Nimmo, and Alex Ramirez. Jeff McNeil in the slot. Probably Tommy Pham in the slot as well. Bryce Montes de Oca, who's a mountain of a man at tight end. You know, he can probably block, he can get out in the pattern. Quarterback's an issue though. I don't know who's gonna be the quarterback of this team.
Got a lot of options.
Yeah, he
got
did.
a lot of options.
Could be Brett Beatty.
It could. Oh, he actually
Wasn't- yeah.
Middle school
He was throwing to Garrett
quarterback.
Wilson.
That's what I'm
There
saying,
it
yeah.
is.
There it is.
Wow. Oh, we're locked.
We're set.
And then we could have a nice little running back platoon of Lindor and Marte.
Yeah.
Francisco Alvarez at fullback.
Yeah.
Fogey.
John
I want him chip
Allstott.
blocking
Mike
it.
Allstott, like.
Yeah.
Said John
Let's
Allstott.
roll.
That was good. And what, tomorrow, so there's a split squad games
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Half team's going to Astros.
Yeah, to the Astros. And then here at Port St. Lucie, we're playing the Marlins. Who's pitching that game? Do we know?
Yeah, it'll be Denny Reyes traveling to West Palm for the Mets, and Jose Buto, who, by the way, has an incredible glove.
The glove is sick.
Yeah,
The
really
glove
cool
is
glove.
so good. Oh my
Compliment
God, I
on
love
it.
Alex Ramirez got a sick glove too. Did you guys notice that today?
It's like bubblegum cotton candy.
Yeah.
I saw that. I saw that on photo day. I actually got to hold it. He handed his stuff when he went to take his photos, and I was just mesmerized by this thing. But yeah, Max Scherzer on Sunday against the Nationals.
That's the big one.
I believe Peterson and Quintana are also going over the next 2 days. So yeah, I mean full swing. These guys have been throwing live BPs already.
Yeah, we saw them. Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that. So Scherzer and Lindor had an incredible interaction during a live BP.
Oh, yeah, we saw that.
Yeah,
Also
yeah,
Sandy
yeah.
yesterday too, right?
Sango pitched yesterday,
Yep.
on
Yeah.
live BP. He looked really good. Like,
Yeah.
striking guys out.
Popping the glove.
Yeah, the velocity, I hadn't seen it. We hadn't seen him ever throw live in person. So I was very happy and surprised to see that the velo looks legit.
And goes for it.
I got to bring up a John at photo day thing.
Oh,
we
boy.
saw John hand a ball to Verlander or Scherzer. I can't remember who it was.
Oh, yeah.
And the smile on John's face just because he got to hand him a
Nah.
baseball.
No, he asked for it back.
To take a baseball back
okay.
from him.
Well, that's because Rob, one of the great MLB photographers, he has his set. He's been doing it for like 25, 30 years. And we realized that Justin Verlander walked off with the ball. And here I am. I'm like, well, I'm going to have to go be the one to ask Justin for that ball back. Luckily, he was cool about it. I actually, I got a shout out from Photo Day was Jimmy Yacobonis,
Jersey guy.
who was not only a Jersey guy. He says I'm from Jersey. I say I'm from Jersey. He says 120 off the Garden State. I'm like, oh my God, that's Matawan. I'm from Marlboro. We're rattling off names of guys that we mutually know. It was the
South
least.
Jersey guys.
There were some names that I heard from high school that I did not expect to hear out of Jimmy Yacobonis' mouth on Photo Day, but alas, there we were. So
And that reminds me, another thing about Adam Ottavino, I found out we worked at the same place as children.
really,
Wild, yeah. We worked at the same place. He was in the skate park area. So that's a fun Adam Ottavino thing.
That's fun.
Definitely.
Inline aggressive skater.
Little fun tidbit.
I've got a good Adam Ottavino one too.
Well, this isn't a competition.
No, it's not. I'm just saying I got a good one.
John's got a one up. That's all right.
So somehow the conversation about top 5 baseball players of all time comes up. And I've been having this debate a lot down here with various people. It's become sort of a bit almost.
I got my top 5.
Well, I have a top 5 that's kind of controversial, a member of my top 5. Adam
If it's Chase
Ottavino.
Utley, I'm going to...
It's not Chase
All
Utley.
right.
Adam Ottavino agreed with me wholeheartedly on this one.
Well, I know what it's going to be.
Who's going to be?
Babe Ruth is in top 5.
No, that's not it.
Okay.
Actually, that didn't come up, but that's funny.
That's not controversial.
No,
I think it is.
It's not controversial because we can't be counting the 1920s. But no, all I'm going to say is that Adam Ottavino is on my side. If you're out there and you know this argument, Adam Ottavino, I got
Wait,
him.
shall we share our top 5s?
What's the player?
All right, go ahead. Top 5.
Top 5, Barry Bonds 1, Babe Ruth 2, Willie Mays 3. I think I had Hank Aaron 4, and 5 was... Who was my 5th, actually? I'm drawing a blank, but it was definitely a good player.
So I'm going to tell you, I have the same 4 as you.
Yeah.
And number 5, I'm sorry, everybody, Alex Rodriguez is in my top 5.
He's 100% in
Oh,
my
I
top
think he
five.
was. I think he was.
controversial?
That's not controversial.
No, wait, I think
Apparently,
he was
it's a
in my top five.
controversial thing to say. I don't know.
I think he's closer to 1 than 5.
I was going to say A-Rod in my top 5 for sure.
Me too, 100%.
Oh, so we have this is unanimous here.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that when the boys are all on the same page.
We're all thinking the same thing. I'm trying to find my... I think it was him. I think it was A-Rod.
Yeah.
Or Pujols, one of those two.
Albert's top 7.
I think
Yeah,
it was
he's
one of
right
those two.
there.
I think I probably have Mays, Aaron, A-Rod.
Bonds, right?
Lou Gehrig
Bonds.
has a real
No,
argument.
then,
we
like,
can't be
no, I
going.
wouldn't say Lou
we can't be
Gehrig.
talking Lou
I might
Gehrig.
say Mickey Mantle.
Mickey Mantle has a real
Might say
say.
Ted Williams.
Oh, Ted Williams was my 5. That's who
Yeah.
it was. It
So
was Ted
A-Rod's
Williams.
not in your
I
5.
said
was
A-Rod.
6.
A-Rod's the second person I said.
I take that entire.
Big
The
was
boys
not my
are
top
on the
5.
same
I forgot
page
about
back.
Ted Williams. See, the fact that we all forgot about Ted Williams tells you
I didn't
how
forget about
underrated
him.
he
I
is.
just
He's so good.
He had 400. Cool. Batting.
And,
What
like,
was the
500
BABIP? What was the BABIP that year?
Like 500 home runs, too.
He missed 3 years of his prime to fight in the war.
I'm aware the counting stats
He's
are
a
hurt
hero.
by that, but anyway.
We digress from the top five.
Yeah,
We
alright.
can do this all day.
So
I'll be
what-
for dinner tonight.
What else we got in spring training? Anything else we're forgetting?
I do
Vito
have
has something.
I do have a listener question. Josh Roseman from the Mets organization told me once I got down here to ask this question live on the podcast.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Oh,
It has to do with
gosh.
John Barron.
Oh, wow.
John
This is his
episode.
punishment. He has to stand and he has to hear this question now.
He wants to know if this is animal.
Okay.
If you're running late to dinner, to a group dinner, and you don't text, sorry, I'm running late, you give no circumstance, you say nothing, you just text your order without...
Oh, that's
Oh
animal.
my
That's
God.
animal. You can't do that.
That's animal, but that's exactly what I expect from John.
Apparently, he just texted,
There's no
literally,
malice behind it,
order
though.
me this, didn't say sorry for being
That's
late.
not true. No,
That's
this
so
is
bad.
this is foul.
Is
This is foul.
Is this a hit piece?
Yeah, kind of, and I would
Kind of.
I would put you guys to this. This makes total sense that this is the kind of that you would just bring this up. Like,
Well, how did I bring it up? I wasn't here.
no, well, Josh told you to do it, and you're doing it. So there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah. No, I was watching a Mets Astros game last year. I had committed to going to dinner.
Okay.
And I got caught up, and I believe I said I will be a little bit late. Can you please order me this? Which is not animal.
If that precedes
Yeah,
the
you
can
did say
order,
that for sure.
then
but
it's
if
okay.
you did not say that, that's animal.
If it was just order me and the food, then that's crazy.
I was told it was just order me into food, and something the three of us have learned on this trip
Yeah.
is when Johnny Boy's hungry, Johnny
Eats.
Boy's eating for himself, and nobody else is getting considered.
We had just gotten to spring training. We didn't know where any of the food was or what to eat, and John just disappears for 45 minutes, eats his own breakfast, leaves us to the wolves.
I was hungry.
Yeah, we know.
We were doing an episode that will never be released. I recorded a few months ago, and we just looked back. It was a very long.
That
shoot.
one was released.
That one was released.
That was the released
okay.
one.
That was.
Yeah.
Alright,
What happened in this one?
It was. We were talking for hours with a guest, and we looked to the left, and John's just eating a turkey burger.
Oh yeah.
Out of nowhere, everyone's very hungry. We've been recording from
Yeah.
like 5:30, like
Yeah, I
almost
was-
7 o'clock.
I was really hungry that day too.
Humans are hungry. Humans are hungry every day, John.
What a few days in spring training thus far.
Day and a half.
Day and a half, not even 48 hours yet for the boys. Had a great time thus far. Excited
Yes.
for the rest of the week. Weekend. It's the end of the
Excited
week.
for the next 48 hours.
The next 48 hours. Yeah, we'll catch up with you guys when we are done back out of the spring training trip. I believe will probably be the next time we drop an episode. Anything else here before we wrap it up, guys? I think it's a perfect spot.
No, we got some great interviews coming your way. Great.
Shout out to Joe.
Yeah, shout out to Joe.
Shout out to Joe. He
Shout
knows
out
who
to
he
Joe.
is.
And Nathan.
And Nathan. Shout out to Nathan. Met him in the team store
Joe
today.
Nathan.
Joe Nathan.
Oh, look
Joe
at
Nathan.
Joe Nathan.
Long Island guy. Stony Brook guy.
And John
Yeah.
always knows the New Yorkers.
And Joe was a Long Island guy.
Yeah, he definitely was.
Joe's a big Long Island guy.
So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. You know what to do. Follow us on all our social media at Mets'd. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, download the podcast, everything like that. We're going to go have some fun. Go have some dinner now. So we'll catch you guys on the next episode of the Mets'd podcast. Peace out.
Bye everyone. No Irish goodbyes.
See you guys next time.
Oh.